to Symmetrically Fit. This will be our first kind of introduction episode, talking a little bit about what Symmetrically Fit is, why we named it that, who we are, and what we're planning for this podcast. So, before I get started, just to let everyone know, as you can see in the corner and in the background, unfortunately, my office is also in my children's parrot room. So we do have a pet parrot flying around here, so I'm sure you'll see her hop on my shoulder, snuggling my beard, and all that fun stuff. So if I don't take her out and let her do all of that, you're going to hear her squawking the whole time. So if you're thinking about getting a parrot, make sure you talk to me first. I might be able to change your mind about it. Um, Other than that, she's been a great pet. She just doesn't help a whole lot with work. So let's get into what symmetrically fit means, why I named it that. My name's Dustin Gotro. I'm the owner of Symmetry Personal Training. And the quick story of why I use symmetry and symmetrically fit. Symmetry for me as a corrective exercise specialist is very important. The symmetry and balance of the human body to get it to work properly is kind of the foundation of everything I do. So that's where the name came from. It's not anything super complicated or crazy. That's it. So, who we are, kind of what we're trying to do with this podcast. My other two that are going to be involved in this will be on the first official podcast episode. But I'm going to talk a little bit about who they are, just a quick introduction, and then on that first episode, we'll get into a lot more detail. I'll let them take over on that part. So, first off, I will talk a little bit about who I am, my background, and all that stuff. So, again, my name is Dustin Gotro. I'm a corrective exercise specialist. I own Symmetry Personal Training. I've got about 16 years of experience in the fitness industry. I've held just about every position in the industry. I've started as a personal trainer. I've held many different manager positions for different gyms, running different gyms with my family. And my wife and I owned our own gym for several years as well. So, real quick story on where I'm at today. I had about a 6 year hiatus, detour, whatever you want to call it, from the fitness industry, and recently got back into it as of 2024, and I'm really excited about it. Um, Basically, as I got into gym ownership, I realized pretty quickly that I was not a gym owner. I'm a personal trainer. And so I got back into just personal training. I'm training at Anytime Fitness in McKinney. I've been really happy there. The atmosphere is great. The owner is incredible. And I'm definitely staying in personal training. I will never own another gym ever again. It's just not my thing. So, a little bit about the personal training part for me. As I said, I'm a corrective exercise specialist. So my passion is in fixing injuries, preventing injuries, that type of thing. Something to know about me, and I will do a little more detailed episode on this story later on. Those of you out there that do know me already kind of know this story, but basically, when I was 19 years old, I suffered a really bad back injury right after I got into the fitness industry, and that really sent me down the career path that I'm on now. So, because of that back injury, it sent me down a path of getting certified to become a corrective exercise specialist. And because of the way my personality is, I got very, very obsessed with the human body and finding muscle imbalances, figuring out what causes injuries, and how to fix those muscle imbalances, how to prevent injuries, how to rehabilitate injuries. And that really just became a part of who I am. It's where my real passion is, and that's where I'm going to stay focused forever. Um, One more thing to know about me. I believe, and my clients get so tired of hearing this, but I believe routines and structure are the true key to fitness. Obviously, that's a very vague statement. There's a lot more to getting fit. However, the routines, the daily routines, so sleeping habits, eating habits, workout habits, mental health habits, um, the structure around these routines is extremely important if you really want to get in shape. And I truly believe that it's kind of the missing link for most people that struggle with their health is those routines are not lined up, and it's very difficult to identify what's causing a plateau, what's stopping you from seeing results if you don't have those routines. So that's another thing we would definitely do an episode on later on in the process, about the importance of those routines. So that's a little bit about me. Hopefully, you guys will follow us, and listen in on these episodes, and you'll learn lots more about us as we go. But for now, I'm going to move on to the two individuals that will be involved in this. So, my first one, his name is Dylan Stone. He's a pediatric physical therapist. I'll let him fill you in more on exactly what that means and what he specializes in later on, and where he works and all that good stuff. What I'd like to say about him is Dylan actually worked for me for many years, at two different gyms as a personal trainer, and he's honestly one of the best personal trainers I've ever known. Um, there's Mango. She'll be hanging out for a little while, apparently. Um, Dylan was one of the best personal trainers I've ever known, and I've gotten to be really, really good friends with him over the years. We've been good friends for close to 15 years now. And one thing I've always noticed about him is he has more of a engineering type mindset. He's very, very analytical. He likes to break things down. He likes to take things apart, put them back together, build things, that type of thing. And so, as he got into the fitness industry, that became a huge benefit for him, and something that I hadn't seen in the fitness industry yet. His ability to break down the human body, identify what's wrong, and correct it is something that I hadn't seen from that perspective before. So I think he's going to have a really interesting view of things, as we're getting into this. And so, moving on to the next one, the other individual that will be involved here will be Katie Gerlinghouse. She is a physical therapist and the owner of the Fit Pelvis in McKinney. I recently partnered with Katie about 3 months ago and began working with her. Um, so basically, I'm training her, and she's working with me, with some of my various injuries from the past and fixing things, kind of keeping me in order. With Katie, I kind of think of her as the fixer on our team. She fixes things, and with her expertise in pelvic health, she's been able to break down just about every muscle imbalance we can come up with and relate the role of the pelvis, in those muscle imbalances, which is just about every one. Pretty much any muscle imbalance I can think of, the pelvis is involved in some way or another because of where it attaches to the rest of the body. So, she also has a very interesting perspective of muscle imbalances and how to fix them. So she's going to be a big part of this podcast. Another thing about Katie is because of what she does, she's able to provide a unique perspective from a higher level of injury rehabilitation than I can. So, she's kind of been my go to when there's something I can't figure out, or if I'm dealing with a client that has something that I haven't dealt with before and it's a little bit too advanced for me. I'll send them to her to work with them for a while and then send me back a report of what the plan is, to get them out of pain. So, that's the three of us. Like I said, next episode, we'll have all three of us on here. And, so, getting into what we plan to do with this podcast. So I decided to start this podcast because every day I seem to find myself in a conversation with various others in the health industry about why so many people are unable to break the cycle of bad health. And sometimes that has to do with injuries, sometimes that has to do with losing weight, gaining muscle, maintaining muscle mass that's already been gained, and other various health issues. And it's just so hard to reach everybody, and so many people struggle with it that I thought, you know what, we need to get some information out there. We need to educate people. And so that's kind of what started the whole thing. And as I started talking to Katie and Dylan about it, they were really into the idea. So we kind of took off with it and got started. Um, with the different views from various areas in the industry from the three of us, we plan to educate others on why you may be hitting a wall, why you're not able to lose weight, why you're not able to gain muscle, keep the weight off, maintain the muscle that's already there. And then, obviously, the most important to me, why you keep getting injured or why you're not able to rehabilitate an injury and get back to what you need to do. So we're going to address a lot of that stuff. With our expertise in the area of injury prevention and injury rehab, we're hoping to help others reduce the risk of injury as well as provide resources for you to be able to rehabilitate those injuries. Whether that be we get on here and kind of talk about something that's really common that everybody experiences but tends to struggle with it, and we just get on here and give you some ideas on, hey, here's some different ways you can start to kind of work on this at home. Or if you're local, it may be, hey, you need to come in and see us. This is the issue that we work with, and this is kind of how we go about it, and provide those resources for you to be able to come in and work with us. Um, so the episodes, all of our episodes will cover anything from getting in shape, losing weight, gaining muscle, fitness for the elderly, fitness for youth, special conditions, and again, most of all, injury prevention and injury rehab. However, if you guys have any topics or questions that you would like us to cover in the keep it in the fitness slash health realm, but we'd be happy to cover those things. Just reach out to us, comment, send us a message. Any way you want to contact us, and we'll get it done. We'll bring in somebody to help us get it done. That's another thing I want to touch on real quick. One of my plans with this podcast is to bring in experts in different areas of health. So, as you guys start sending in some requests of what you want to see on here, what you want to learn more about, or something that you're struggling with, we're going to go out and find experts in those areas and bring them on here so we can ask them questions and have them kind of break down what you're wanting us to actually talk about on here. So I'm really excited about that. It's going to be really cool. We have a lot of good resources for people that we can bring in, and just bring in a little bit higher level of education than we have between the three of us. Um, so we're just starting this podcast, so obviously we're going to need some help from you guys that already know us. Find us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and obviously here on Spotify for the podcast. We're going to try and post this podcast, every episode, to all of those platforms, so you'll have many ways of knowing what's going on when we're doing another episode, all that good stuff. And I do have a website as well, and I'll let Katie give her information about her website. So all of my information on all social media is Symmetry Personal Training. My website is symmetrypersonaltraining.com. So again, if you guys will go there, like, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. And most importantly for right now, we need you guys to share these episodes, share our pages, get some more people on here so that we can educate as many people as possible. All right, so we thank you for that. Our first episode We haven't announced it yet, but it will be coming soon. But we have decided what we want to cover. So we're going to begin to break down the very, very long, drawn out topic of back pain. It's where most of my passion is, and there's a lot to it. So we're going to do a lot of episodes on it because there's so much to cover on it that we can't cover it all in just one. There's so many different variables, um, different things that can cause back issues. It's not just plain old black and white. There's a lot to it. So we're going to try and start breaking that down. The first episode is going to cover the most common causes of back pain that we see and some ways that you can begin the process of fixing the problem. So that will be announced soon. Follow us on social media so you can know when that episode is coming out, and then we'll get it posted. Um, let's see, make sure I'm not missing anything here. That's everything, guys. So, if you guys are looking for a personal trainer or physical therapist, reach out to us any way you like, and we'll be sure to get back to you and get you moving. I'll leave all the contact info in the description, bio, whatever the heck they call it on these things. I'm new to this in case y'all can't tell, so hopefully it'll get better as we go. Until next time, stay pain free, guys.